We're starting tonight with a special investigation. Nonprofits in Pueblo are getting fewer dollars from the city in 2025 after the mayor said the budget needed to tighten up. But News 5 Investigates uncovered one of the organizations still receiving money had its tax-exempt status revoked years ago. Here's News 5 Investigates' Allison Zimmerman.
More than a dozen nonprofits in Pueblo have come to rely on thousands of dollars from the city. In this upcoming budget year, some of them had their funding reduced or completely removed. We started looking into the nonprofits that did receive funding, and one of them raised questions about the city's vetting process. On a Christmas tree in Pueblo City Hall this year, the community provided Christmas donations to La Gente Youth Sports. Its social media says it's a tax-exempt organization providing sports opportunities for low to moderate income kids. It's one of more than 24 organizations city leaders voted to give money to for the 2025 budget year. But News 5 Investigates uncovered it lost its tax-exempt status 4 years ago. In that time, the city awarded them nearly $100,000, with another $18,000 approved for 2025. It raised questions for us as to how the city is vetting nonprofits. In August, the city hired a nonprofit compliance coordinator. We sat down with her to ask her questions about the application and vetting process.
So previous to this year, any nonprofit that wanted to essentially become a line item in the city's budget would send a letter to the mayor requesting these funds.
This is Melissa Cook, Pueblo's nonprofit compliance coordinator.
This year, we wanted that to be a lot more in-depth, a lot more transparent of a process, and make sure that we were actually vetting these nonprofits accordingly.
The mayor even touted the added requirements of the application in front of City Council earlier this year.
Some of those documents included their current budget, their most recent financial statements, their most recent audit, their 990 if they had to file one.
I need to ask, because we went through and we were looking at the nonprofits that the city did end up giving money to. We found that there was one nonprofit that had its nonprofit status revoked by the IRS. That was La Gente Youth Sports. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not aware of that. We went and made sure that they were all in good standing with the Secretary of State. And so if that happened, then that documentation had not been filed by the point that we had reviewed this.
They've been out of compliance since 2020. This is from the IRS.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't speak to that at this point.
So if I'm a taxpayer and I'm looking at all of the nonprofits that received funding, and I see that this one in particular has not been recognized as a tax-exempt organization by the IRS, explain to me how your vetting process went through each and every nonprofit.
Well, okay, I think that we need to back up, because when we talk about nonprofits, not everybody on this list is a nonprofit organization, and that's very important.
Is La Gente Youth Sports a nonprofit?
I can't answer, that question at this exact time.
We looked up the organizations listed in this section of the city's budget under non-departmental contributions and donations. Of the 22 groups listed, 20 have registered with the IRS as tax exempt. The others are abatement assistance, which is run by the city's code enforcement, and nonprofit payments to the county. The city gave us this list, which includes 29 groups that requested funding. This includes what the city calls quasi-governmental organizations like the State Fair.
When we did our vetting process, as I mentioned, we made sure that all were in good standing with the Secretary of State, and we do have that documentation.
Here's where we're going to back up.
We made sure that all were in good standing with the Secretary of State.
If you look up La Gente Youth Sports Inc. on the Secretary of State's business search, the city is correct. It is in good standing. But the Secretary of State also requires charitable organizations to register. And on that search, La Gente Youth Sports status as a charity is expired as of 2020, which is the same year the IRS revoked its tax-exempt status. How does that happen?
By and large, it happens when a not-for-profit doesn't file a Form 990, one of the series, because there's basically 3.
Doreen Mers is a nonprofit compliance tax expert with Stockman Cast Ryan & Company in Colorado Springs. She says there are 3 different types of Form 990s, the tax forms for nonprofits, and it depends on the amount of money the nonprofit has. Either way, all nonprofits have to file this every year to be federally recognized as tax exempt.
And so any organization that does not file that within 3 years, the IRS automatically revokes. they send letters, there's chances to respond. Otherwise, they have to go back through not-for-profit status with the IRS.
Basically, they have to reapply to become tax exempt. A certificate of good standing with the state doesn't mean much when it comes to charities able to accept money.
When you're looking at the Colorado Secretary of State filing, it says that they're in good standing. It's because they've filed their annual registrations with the Secretary of State and are in good standing with the state, just in terms of like the business status with the state, completely separate than the federal.
We showed MERS La Gente Youth Sports good standing as a business and its status as a charity in the state.
Then it'll say may not solicit as a.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you need a Form 990 in order to complete the charitable solicitation registration.
Got it. And so are there penalties then when an organization is continuing to take donations?
Well, okay, so are they soliciting for the donations, or are they just like continuing to receive grants that they have no solicitations? That's kind of the question there.
La Gente Youth Sports advertises registration for its sports leagues. Costs can be up to $150.
Well, so those would be like program service fees, not necessarily like a blanket, like I'm going to do a fundraising dinner and I'm going to go out and I'm going to say we are this awesome not-for-profit. Please, provide charitable donations to us. That's not allowed.
So if they were doing a golf tournament fundraiser,
That's not good.
And they did. In June, they even had an option for people to give donations without participating. So we really needed to get a hold of La Gente Youth Sports. I called and emailed the director, Zachary Valdez. We did eventually get a hold of him. Hi, is this Zach? This is Allison Zimmerman with KOAA. How are you? Valdez says the following morning, after we first called and left a message for our story, he was on the phone with the IRS and learned he was late in filing his Form 990s. Let me ask this. You said that you had filed late 990s. So you have the 990s from the past 4 or 5 years? Okay, are you able to send those to me? He agreed to send them. I'm still waiting. I also asked him for an on-camera interview, and he said he needed to talk to his board first. But back at City Hall, you were then a part of the conversations. Were you the one making the recommendations ultimately to City Council of which nonprofits?
The mayor made the recommendations to City Council. Correct.
Would we be able to talk to the mayor today then? Pueblo Mayor Heather Graham did come in and sit down with us, and we asked her about La Gente's standing as a tax-exempt organization. Were you aware of this?
No. When was it revoked?
2020. I showed her the status from the IRS we printed off from its website, as this is public information.
No, there's no address. That wasn't pulled from the city, so it just says La Gente. I don't even know if that's their correct EIN.
Okay, got it. So you're doubting the legitimacy
Could
of
be.
this?
Yeah, it could be. Because we didn't specifically ask for this. We asked.
You didn't ask for Form 990s
No.
or
We asked
tax-exempt
for
status?
their good standing certificate,
Okay.
which is showing right now that they're in good standing.
They're in good standing as a business, but not as a charity.
Yeah.
So the city is giving them money. They're collecting money from citizens in Pueblo when they're not legally allowed to do so.
Per your document. That means nothing to me. This might be something that you looked into, but that's not specifically something that we required from the city.
Okay, well, I'm going to push back on that a little
Okay.
bit because your nonprofit compliance coordinator said that
Certificate of good standing. That's
she also
not what
mentioned
that
Form
is.
990s. Is that fair?
For those that are required to do them, we did, we looked at those as well.
All nonprofits are supposed to have them.
So we don't make the determination of the legal IRS determination of who needs to submit a 990.
This is it.
To the mayor's credit, she went and gathered all 29 of the applications the city received for funding.
So it's very hefty. It's a lot of work to go through all this and make sure that we're doing our due diligence. So
Can you check if La Gente has 990s in there?
let's see. This is a letter saying that they are exempt.
That's from 1995. La Gente did not have 990s in its application. If you, after this interview, go and look up the federal tax status and see that what we have uncovered is correct, what will happen with La Gente Youth Sports funding?
It would be very hard for us, to go back, and if you did not meet that requirement, it was not something that the city asked for.
We did get a hold of an example of an application. The city does ask organizations whether or not they are tax exempt. We're working to learn whether or not La Gente Youth Sports applied as tax exempt.
I don't think that we could take the funds away from La Gente or not provide them with funding, something that we could put into our application for next year, but because it was not something that we required this year, I think that would be very hard to do.
You don't require a nonprofit to be complying with the law?
With the federal law, it was not in our grant application, like I've stated several times.
So we spoke to the mayor on Tuesday, and she said to give her a day or two to look into this. On Thursday, I asked for another interview, and by Friday afternoon, we sat down with her again. This time, I showed her a clip of a city council work session where she was present, and the nonprofit compliance coordinator said this about the review process.
In general, we wanted to first make sure that the organization was in good standing. So we went to the Secretary of State, made sure that they were a nonprofit in good standing, that they filed their 990s.
The mayor said 990s were only reviewed if they submitted them. She said if they didn't submit them, they were not reviewed.
That almost sounds like the requirements were different for everyone.
I wouldn't say that they were different for everybody. We sent out one application that they had to respond to. If they had the information that they could provide back to the city, they did. We're not the FBI, essentially we fund nonprofits and non-departmentals who provide services to the city. And no, I mean, you are correct in what you're saying that they're not compliant with the IRS, but then the IRS gives a disclaimer about why somebody is not compliant.
The IRS website says just because the tax exempt status is revoked does not mean they have not been reinstated. But Valdez told us he just learned this past week the status was revoked, and the organization is now in the process of reapplying. We also went through La Gente Youth Sports website to see if there was any financial information posted for the community on there. We went through it and we found a tab titled Accountability, thinking there might be something there. But when we clicked on it, it said under construction. We'll continue to ask questions. Allison Zimmerman, News 5 Investigates.